Bro, like, this shit where people farm normals over and over is, like, so fucking cringe. Like, I see people talk about, like, how good their build is, and I see, like, the video, and they're farming a normal mode dungeon. What the fuck are you doing?
Hey everyone, welcome to my elemental bow build for Endgame Rogue. This build will focus on general dungeon speed farming with rapid fire. If you want to push Nightmare 100 with this build, it could do it, but you're just gonna have to gear more defensively and also spec into more defense in the skill tree and paragonboard. If you want a bossing single target build, for something like Uber Lilith, I did kill her with rapid fire, but that build is very different. You can check that one out in the link below. So finally, we got some time to play and learn the game, and here's what I came up with for the very fun rogue so far. And as you can see, you'll just one-shot mobs on your level. It shows a ton of potential, and I'm able to blast through dungeons 20 levels above me super easily. If you want to do big DPS at close or long range, push nightmare dungeons, or just carry your friends with a simple, rewarding machine gun playstyle, then this is the build for you. Let's talk about how I came upon this build as I show you gameplay. If you don't want to hear or see enough gameplay, go ahead and skip through with the timestamps below, as I'm going to ramble on quite a bit. Also want to mention, I've skimmed through a few guide videos and I've never seen any of them doing nightmare sigils way above their level, and I was like, okay, well, if you're going to title your build best build, then I think you should show how high you can push some nightmare dungeons, right? Here I can show you my build doing extremely high tiers for my level. So I wanted to make this guide and share it with you guys. The build is quite powerful and actually also very simple. I also want to mention quickly that this build is also amazing in group play, because you do really good single target damage, provide the sought out for vulnerability debuff for your team. At the same time, you're also freezing and debuffing enemies. It's great, and you're absolutely going to feel the damage you're dishing out compared to everyone else around you. As you can see in the gameplay footage, I'm able to just obliterate mobs on my level like you see in the other build videos. I can also farm sigils 20 levels above me at a very quick pace, with no fear of dying, since I'm taking a ton of sustain, which I'll explain later. So, how do I come up with this build? My inspiration came from the unique amulet, Word of Hakan, that I came across many times. It's a pretty cool unique, plus Rain of Arrow and Imbuements, making you want to use all three, so I thought, how I'm gonna make a good build that uses all three imbuements, an ultimate, and also have a CC defensive break. Well, I had to make room getting rid of my basic skill. And I knew rapid fire was the only skill that can really sustain itself with like no aspects. So I dropped barrage, and I started playing with rapid fire, and with the rapid fire talent that gives you energy back, I was able to drop my basic skill once I got the exploit glyph, and I'll explain that later. I'm going to show you a bit more gameplay, but feel free to skip ahead to the build. Alright, so quick leveling segment. You actually don't need that much to get this build going. But keep in mind, this is the in-game build. So for leveling, I highly recommend using like Barrage and Puncture, because you don't need any legendaries, and those skills are just so strong by itself. But if you still want to level with Rapid Fire, then you need to get the Aspect Repeater, and also use a basic skill until you get this glyph exploit that applies vulnerability for you. You're just gonna have to use puncture with this so you can get vulnerability. Alright, so let's talk about the skill tree real quick. These 2 points, it doesn't matter. We don't use that ability. Obviously, you max out rapid fire. And this is gonna give you a lot of crit chance. And this is how the build works. Without a basic skill, you gain energy back when you damage a vulnerable enemy. That's a must. Life-Spinning Strike's very, very good. Have to max this out. And this gives you, you're using a bow, gives you vulnerable damage, very good. We're using crossbow, gives you crit damage, which is also very good. Here we choose conceal as our defense over something like shadow step or dash, because dash doesn't break CC. This skill breaks CC. It also gives you energy back when you're shooting a lot of rapid fire and you're not hitting vuln. And it also applies vuln for 6 seconds. And without puncture, we need more vulnerable resources. Here we get through Dark Child, but we actually don't bar this. We just get it for the move speed. And our legendary aspect will charge this up for us, so we don't actually have to use it. Here we get Exploit for damage and Malice for more vuln damage. Vuln damage is probably the best stat in the game. Here we're going to use all 3 imbuements. So we're going to get the crit chance. And then we're going to get the lucky hit to stun. Just have a little stun. We don't need energy, so we don't grab that. We want more vulnerability. So we grab this. And just get the poison with crit damage, because this is pretty bad. And alchemical advantage. You want 1 point in here because it's really good. Very valuable just to have 1 point in it. Max out the reduced damage taken. And here we use ice. This is another source of vulnerability. And you just do more damage with frozen. So here we use Shadow Clone as our ultimate. Pretty good with rapid fire. We max out lucky hit chance over here and get a little lucky hit chance here. And we're gonna grab haste. It's very, very good for 3 points. And we choose precision. What's really nice about precision with this rapid fire build is that you don't have to worry about it at all consuming on your basic skill, because you only use rapid fire. That's gonna be really, really nice for crit chance and crit damage. Alright, so let's look at the legendary aspects real quick. So here, I choose Manglers. Manglers really, really good for the days in the CC, outside of your freeze. This is gonna proc basically all the time. Disobedience is a must, because armor is the best stat in the game. I like bursting venoms, because when you get up close, and you're just poison imbue rapid fire, is gonna proc most of the time, and give you that pull so you can keep shooting poison, which is your top damage. And this aspect's also a must. Gives your marksman skill a chance to give you the Dark Shroud. It just procs all the time. They recently buffed it. Really, really strong, so you don't have to plot Dark Shroud onto your bar. I like Petinant Greaves, but if you don't have Petinant Greaves, you can just use boots with the stats here that I put in. The Petinant Greaves is the huge damage increase. So for the 2-hand, we go for repeating. You just want the highest chance as possible. So on the 2-hand, it doubles the chance to ricochet, so it's actually 90% chance to ricochet, which is going to help your AoE so much. And that's what rapid fire lacks in. You can also put this in your amulet instead. For amulet, I like to go with attack speed. And on your amulet, you get 50% more power, so it's actually 36% chance, or not chance, 36% more attack speed, which is really, really nice because attack speed's hard to come by, and it's one of your biggest DPS increases. So that's why we put it on the neck for more attack speed. Here, for one of our offensive, we use Edge Masters because we're pretty much full resources all the time. We use Aspect of Imitated Imbuement, which is really nice because our clone also gets our imbuements, and we're using 3 imbuements, so it's going to be a lot of value. Also want to mention that Shadowgrabs, this could be a good choice if you don't have good gloves yet. It's pretty similar in DPS to like pretty good gloves that give you crit chance, attack speed, and rapid fire ranks. So you can just use that for fun, but I found that the best in slot would be legendary gloves with these stats. And for another offensive aspect, I choose Arrow Storms. You actually don't have that many options to choose from, and with Arrow Storms, it will proc, from the gameplay footage that you saw, it will proc your siphoning strikes, so it's really, really strong to keep you sustaining and alive. More like a defensive aspect. Also gives you a little bit of AoE and chip damage. Or finally, our last aspect. Of course, you have to get Corruption. Makes all your imbuements more potent. But basically what that means is my poison does more damage. My freeze does more chill, so they freeze up faster. And my shadow imbue does also more damage. And this is what we run. We run Shadow Clone with Preparation. Basically, your Shadow Clone is just up all the time with Preparation because you're just spamming rapid fire and you're reducing the cooldown a lot. Conceal is our defense. You can also use it offensively to apply vulnerable. Of course, rapid fire. So here are my gear stat priorities. Not gonna go over too much. Cooldown reduction, total armor, crit damage, vuln. You want all that. Here in the notes, it'll be in the link below. I list out all the stat pros in order, so you can check that out if you need to. For gems, we use crit damage with vuln. I prefer life because we're not CC'd very often, so we don't need topaz. If we do get CC'd, concealment should be up. And obviously armor's just the best defense in the game. So for my paragon board, I'm not gonna go over it too much. But you do want some defense, so that's why I get a max life over here. Max life is really good. Resistance to all elements, not that much, but I'll show you the glyphs I'm running. Infusion's really, really good. Imbuement damage. And cooldown. We use Ranger because we only use the bow, and it also reduces your damage taken by 10%. Very powerful. Here we use Exploit. You couldn't actually run Exploit here as you're leveling because you'll want Exploit ASAP so you can get that 3-second of vuln every time you hit someone. And that's when you're able to drop your basic skill. So you can actually run it here, and there's enough strength nodes to put it here. I like to get no witness, because with preparation, you're actually ulting all the time. And the cooldown's close to something like 20 to 30 seconds. Depends on how fast you're depleting your energy. Go over here, uncanny, increase non-physical damage. We'll go up here and grab Eldritch Bounty. We're using all 3 imbuements, so this is very, very valuable. It's actually more than 20% damage. Finally, we get combat down here. If you're leveling, I recommend putting combat probably over here, if you're leveling, because you just want access to it as soon as you can. But once you're not leveling anymore, this node gives you the most int, and you want as much crit damage as you can possibly get. So when you're done leveling, you'll put it in here for the most crit damage. Here we get a lot of bone damage, more bone damage. We can't skip out on defense, so we get some vulnerable damage reduction and then elite damage reduction. So if you're level 100, this can probably push to Nightmare 100. Maybe you need a little more defense. If you do want to get more defense, you probably take all this out. Alright, so I want to show you guys real quickly the optimal rotation. So basically, you start out with the poison imbue, then you get the debuffs. Tweak that out. Go frost. Freezing. And when you go to shadow, and then you pop your shadow, pop your cloak, because you don't have vulnerability from your exploit glyph anymore, and then you pop your ultimate, you get all of that back. And then you can keep firing. And just keep cycling through your imbuements. And that's basically the simple rotation. So this is my take on one of the best rapid fire rogue builds in the game. It's very powerful at any range, and it's very simple to play and gear. Hopefully I didn't take too long and explain everything clearly. This is probably one of my first videos ever. I just want to make sure I cover as much as I know on the build and share my insight. I hope you guys enjoyed my build I came up with. If you guys have any other thoughts and ideas, let me know in the comments below. Consider subscribing if you like this video. If you enjoyed the content, I'll see you guys next time.